Right, so this is an A2 Media Studies weekly review. We're on week 1, and I'm Michael Phillips.
I'm Paul Lawrence.
I'm Jack Wesley.
So, this week, what we've started to do, first of all, is we brainstormed our ideas. So, we come up with all different genres so we had a thought sort of genre, and then we had some underlying genres and themes, okay?
Which we all sort of came up with together, which
Yeah.
we all each expanded on individually.
Yeah,
on
we
our
all
own
consulted
ideas.
each other. We started off, first of all, with 6 initial ideas.
Which the last idea we wanted to be our main idea.
Yeah, we
so
sort of wanted
the first
to...
5 ideas would be the basic ones, and the last one is the one we run with.
Yeah, we
thought
thought
that was a good idea.
Yeah.
it was a very good idea. So we had 6 ideas, we split it up 2 each. What we did was, the first idea we had was a murder mystery with an underlying theme of action, okay? So what was going to happen here was a man was going to be stalked. So he was going to work for the security services, and he was going to feel like he was being followed. So someone was, every time he came out of work, he thought he was being followed. He kept turning to run. So I was able to include in that some details about shot, reverse shot, and mid shots, also some tracking shots of his shown walking down the street. And through this, I was able to not only write a narrative, but I was able to plot out the key elements. If we were going to use that idea, I could have easily said this is what we were going to do to my colleagues here. So what we did was, not only that, we stated the strengths and weaknesses of each.
Yeah.
So I said, so some of the strengths were, some of the weaknesses were. And then, obviously, after I'd finished that, I come up with my second idea, which we were going to use as it was going to be mainly a drama with the underlying theme of action. This was going to be a man who was in the Iraq War, and he's just come home. He come home with PTSD, so he was very mentally challenged sort of thing. He had a lot of demons. We were going to call that Over the Drink, because he was going to gain a drink problem throughout that. And then one day he was just going to flip, basically. He had enough of his dreams, he had so many flashbacks, he was just going to leave the house, and he left the house with a knife. So that was quite a relevant issue, because we've got obviously some real life anecdotes that you could relate to, sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's what we wanted to keep it sort of problems that sort of happen in society.
Yeah,
like
sort of like relevant
something that relative.
to today's society. We evaluated the mise en scène for each of that. So we gave each other a short narrative, and we also used we listed the costumes, the location, the lighting, the shots we'd use.
Yep.
So we really thought in detail about what we'd do. So then we come up
those
with
are the ideas that Michael expanded on.
yeah, and then we come up with a third and fourth, fifth, sixth idea, obviously.
Yeah,
Which then Paul expanded on.
Yeah.
Which idea 3?
Idea 3 is called Mind Swept, where someone is driving home and then ends up with being in a very bad accident and ends up with a very severe case of memory loss.
Yeah.
And as he's slowly trying to regain his memories, he ends up remembering something that happened in his past that he wants to rectify. And so, as the film were to go on, he'd not only try and get all his memories back, but also try and piece together his family's lives.
Really, this was a good idea that we could go with.
Yeah.
Once
Yeah.
again, because of the issues with it.
Mental health, which is something in today's society that's quite
It's quite serious.
yeah, and it's
quite common as well. Really.
it's quite common, but it's also underlined sort of thing. So undermined.
Once again,
The
next film idea. Rather.
yeah, idea 4 I felt wasn't as strong. It was called The Lover, which the main character is a typical person, and typical everyday person. And one thing about him is that he's trying to find a relationship, so he's on dating websites, and as he's going through it, he ends up finding someone, and they keep on asking him questions, and as time goes on, things start to seem a little suspicious and strange, and eventually...
things start to develop in a way that's unusual. It sort of like starts to gradually expand.
Yeah, and then we went on. Then we had Jack's idea,
Which idea 5, which was Undead Diary, which really came from the idea of having a zombie apocalypse and following the story through a diary's point of view. And really, I thought this was a good idea because you can show the side effects it could be living in sort of
rundown areas.
Yeah, sort of run
Yeah.
down, having an apocalypse sort of setting, with all the chaos going around you, and like, so like for example, one day he'll be sitting there and they lose a friend, and he'll be writing in his diary, "Oh, I lost Dave today. It was heartbreaking," and you really get to see, or maybe you wouldn't see through his face and through his actions, so all the things that people would hide.
Yeah.
In a zombie apocalypse sort of
Yeah,
thing.
one of the things we thought we were going to use this, but then one of the things we considered was the fact that we'll be able to make it
Zombies.
very realistic.
Yeah.
It wouldn't work because
It wouldn't be able to be well
makeup,
shown.
costume.
Yeah.
People have done it before, and we were just a bit.
Yeah, as much as we did like the idea, we did want to have something new.
Yeah, something that hadn't been done before, but something
At least
that was
looked real as well.
fresh,
Yeah.
something that was different.
And really, with the idea I did like behind Undead Diary though was the idea of like you could narrate it, the voiceovers and everything,
Yeah,
so that it wasn't always the same. And really, it was just there's a bit of action, there's violence, there's horror, a bit of horror aspect, there's drama, a bit of thriller. And really, I think adding all those together, it could have made something good.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then we had
Once
our.
again, with the weaknesses.
Then we had our final idea,
Yeah.
which was idea 6. Now, what we did with idea 6 was we took inspiration from a
Each
few
of
of
the
our
other
ideas.
stuff,
Yeah.
Which-
So
Really, we put together, while me and Michael were talking about the weaknesses, really, of, for example, Undead Diary,
Yeah.
zombies, and with idea one with the secret agent, really you can't have a 17-year-old playing
Yeah.
Yeah.
a secret agent, it just doesn't work.
No.
So
No,
we presumed.
and- yeah.
So as we was just talking about these ideas.
Yeah, but we obviously wanted to keep the theme of mental health and
Yes.
at the forefront of what we were doing because it's sort of, and also alcoholism, because that's also another relevant issue that lots of people struggle with in today's society.
So when talking about Undead Diary, me and Michael, we was talking about the demons, so I thought, you can still keep the demons, but in a mental sort of
Yeah.
aspect
Yes.
with
Because
sort of
obviously,
like his mental demons, like metaphorically.
yeah, we had the idea of PTSD obviously, so we wanted to sort of include something that was similar to
Yeah.
So what the final idea for number 6 was that it was a teenage boy, who then develops a mental illness where he starts seeing delusions and sort of like mental things. This is put on to him after a stress, after we thought his mother dying would be the biggest stress
Yes.
someone could go through, and having his father also disabled,
Yeah,
which would put a lot of stress on the main character.
yeah,
Which then we thought, right, so his inner demons, what sort of things will
Yeah.
we show? So these things like his fears, his secret most desires, his
yeah,
his consciousness, his inner things, like the things that may normally people won't think are good. So
but
for
obviously,
example, fears, we want to say like clowns, or for example, Paul as a form of
Spiders.
spiders. So you could have like him seeing spiders everywhere, and you can see that how that will actually affect someone. And because it's psychological as well,
yeah,
I've had a strong idea of symbolism, where you can have like symbols showing things.
yeah.
Once again, spiders and fear, because that is a common fear.
Yeah.
And obviously, with having to deal with the fact that his dad was disabled, he sort of didn't have a life of his own. So we
Yeah.
wanted to sort of show that and show his real inner character and how he was feeling.
And now, really, this idea, it was strongly, I'm going to say, I came up with a lot of the ideas for
Yeah.
it. And a lot of these came behind things like the minds and...
And sort of like the ideas I had, so the initial ideas, we sort of took inspiration from them mainly.
And I remember you saying, Jack, that you kind of got the idea from Batman Arkham Knight.
Yes, well, it was, there's a game called Batman, which I do quite like. Well, it's he gets delusions of one of his enemies who kind of acts as his consciousness as well. So he was seen like during around like key points in the story and in his life. So what I thought, this would be a good opportunity to sort of take that idea and mould it in to someone else's proper mental illness.
Yeah.
So for example, him, when we said about his mother dying, we thought the idea of having him seeing his mother and acting as his consciousness, sort of walking around saying, "Oh, that looks nice."
Yeah.
Sort of to show that really that's what he's thinking. He's thinking, "Oh, that's nice." Or him, the woman that he's seeing is sort of being violent, shows that he's getting violent thoughts.
Yes.
Once again, linking to the idea of symbolism, like the themes and everything.
But we have not come up with a name for question
No,
six.
no.
Idea 6, sorry.
The
should I
title is
say.
proving very difficult.
Because we're sort of like, because obviously we've come up with names for each of our initial ideas because they were quite easy.
Yeah, as long as we do have a very good idea, which we do have, that
We
is
just need basic. We've got basic ideas.
yeah, it is something we can work on.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Lastly, thing that we want to talk about is our roles in the group. And really, so throughout the week, obviously we said we were brainstorming and everything, and we've also started typing these up on our research PowerPoint and like writing them out properly. Like Mark said, the mise en scène with the settings and.
I sort of come up with the framework for that PowerPoint. I said, should we just do it this way? And both my colleagues agreed that that was a good way and an efficient way to sort of set out our work, because we use a table, so we were able to easily set out the different
clear and easy
sections of mise en scène and the key elements of each of our ideas, and then quick summarising narrative sort of thing.
So what really the main roles were that Michael and Paul were sort of brainstorming their ideas, or combining them. And then Michael working on his ideas, Paul working on his, I was working on mine, but as well I was trying to act as a coordinator, sort of making sure that you was sort of saying, oh, you was doing this, okay, that means I can do this, or Paul, that means you have this to do, and then while coming through these ideas, I would sort of talk to them saying, that's done, good, idea 6, what have we got? Which then brought us to this. And really sort of saying, like, you've done the story, you've done the narrative, okay, you haven't done that bit needs doing, and really,
Week 1 is done.
So this is week 2 of our reflections. This week we had 3 lessons, and
on Monday we began looking at research on film magazines, to which we looked up different film magazines of our choice, magazine covers, and then we looked at identifying all the different conventions as to the magazine covers, so like mastheads, sidebars, etc. And then we listed them down. Then we also discussed what each one meant to the magazine.
I looked at the Empire magazine, and I made sure I identified all the conventions, said why they were used, and I gave examples and said why they were used in that way, and sort of developed my responses around that using the central focus of my magazine cover.
And during this I also researched my own magazine. I googled searched a load of magazine covers, and then I chose the one that stood out most to me, and I chose that one, once again labelled and annotated all the conventions. I then defined, because as a group we needed to define the conventions, so I listed out these conventions and I defined them, while those two were working on theirs as well.
And with my one, I looked at the Transformers 4 one from Empire magazine, and as these two have said, I listed out the conventions from them and explained what they were.
And then so on Wednesday we sort of moved away from that work because we wanted to balance it out throughout the week. Wednesday I specifically developed my target audience analysis, because I took the role of doing that task. So I identified the ages of that target audience, the gender, and I also spoke about the different subgenres and why that film would be effective to that audience and why it would appeal to them. I found some different subgenres which I didn't know about, so I found out about horror thrillers, romantic thrillers, and also sort of action thrillers as well. And then I also identified the ages and genders of them too.
And during this lesson I looked at part of task 2 and a part of task 4. During task 2 I just looked at some films which we use for conventions of thrillers, and then we will list off these conventions and then I'll describe what they are. And for this I looked at a few films. I looked at a film called The Hateful Eight, I looked at a film called Sherlock, Inception, Now You See Me, Shutter Island. The film that I decided to go with was The Hateful Eight, and I will also be describing what conventions are of a horror film when I've done this task. In task 4 I defined what a film trailer is and what it's supposed to be.
And then with my one I based my work for that lesson on task 2, to which I looked at the Sherlock Holmes Game of Shadows film, to which, as Jack said, listed out all the conventions of it, and then probably once that part is done, I will then look at horror films to then list out those conventions.
For my target audience analysis, I made sure I included some information about our own film trailer, so I incorporated it into our target audience analysis. I made sure that I said what our specific audience was in that, and I said, for example, in our trailer, we included a man who had mental illness, and I said that that would appeal to our target audience because it's quite a big thing to have today in society, is mental illness, and it's quite a big issue that the government are trying to tackle with the health system and everything. So that was what I did. Today, I think what we're going to do after we've filmed this is we're going to go back, and I've got 4 free lessons. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through task 1, 2 and 3 again, and I'm going to continue with my analysis and development of each question, so I can finish that and start anew next week.
And I've got 3 lessons today in the afternoon, so I can hopefully crack on with continuing task 2 with the thriller.
Yeah, so next, really all we're doing is going to be finishing all of the work from this week and any other bits of work that we feel that needs to be built upon. That's it.
That is it for this week.
Okay, so this is our week 3 weekly reflection. So this week, what our aims were, we each set ourselves individual goals on what we wanted to achieve by the end of the week. So me, individually, I looked through question 12, which was the analysing a film cover, or film magazine cover, and I looked at total film, and I had to have a look at the target audience for that. I looked at what the conventions were, and I specifically defined why each of the conventions were used.
What was your the magazine that you chose? What was it? You said it was Total Film.
It was Total Film, and it had Crimson Peak on the front of it, and it had loads of different things, and it was quite easy to analyse actually because it had quite a lot of the conventions we looked at. So we looked at Anglish Text, Masthead, what other ones? What conventions? Key signifiers.
Obviously the main image.
Yeah, secondary images, box out, crossheads. So we looked at a range of them basically, and I analysed them. And for our actual film cover ourselves, I think we should probably include as many of them as we can, because obviously we want to max out.
Yeah, because at this point, like, you're the one who's looked at the most. Like, what do you think?
Yeah,
we should be using?
Yeah, probably like make sure we. I don't want to specifically pin down what ones we want to use, but I want to.
Or any ideas?
I don't know. Put me on the spot here now. I don't know. But I want to make sure. I want to maybe get some screenshots out of our trailer, maybe, because that would be
possibly
some secondary images.
Yeah.
Also, I looked some. Maybe we want to include a price and a date on our things when it was published. And I think probably because it's going to be a psychological thriller, looking at the target audience like we have, thinking it was quite a older target audience because psychological thrillers.
You can't have it aimed at a young.
No, because it's quite intellectually challenging.
Try that again.
Yeah.
Intellectually
challenging. Basically, what we want to do is we want to incorporate as many conventions as we can. And what were your...
What targets did you give yourself?
What did you do? Individual targets?
Well, I was originally hoping to do task 2, which was to list the conventions of a film for a film. But instead, with the tasks being worded so similarly, I accidentally ended up doing task 6, which was to analyse the film. And so I've decided, right, I've done what I can with this, moving to task 2, get that done, which was my main priority. And so then, what with me halfway through question 6, I can then go back to it when needed.
So for question 6, what film trailer did you look at for question 6?
For one of them, I looked at Sherlock Holmes: A Game of Shadows. Still need to work on the second one that I need to review. But
Which one have you been doing so far?
the Sherlock Holmes. I've got quite a lot of stuff that.
How do you think that's going to link to our film itself, our film trailer, and our magazine?
Well, what ideas have you got from it?
There's a lot of action related with the trailer, which I feel could be to some use in our own trailer, as well as there a lot of music that fits the scenes very well, which could also work with our trailer.
Yeah.
Well,
what were your thoughts?
Well, for me, my personal ones was to finish Task 4, which was just what is a film trailer, and I looked back through the history of it, and going back through, I found that really there's quite a lot of techniques that I thought we could use, and looking back through them, there was ones like the whole coming soon, and as you look through, it's like you see how they change through the ages, and like I thought of a voiceover because I was looking at his name's Don Lafontaine. Forgive me if I said that wrong. Like he was the key voiceover person, which I would like to have in a trailer.
Yeah.
I don't think it would fit ours.
No,
would it?
yeah. Yeah, because it's quite. It needs to be quite confusing, because that's what a psychological thriller is all about. Did you notice about the technology? How the technology changed throughout? Did they talk about that quite a lot?
Well, the way how it was all filmed, like it was used to be started off as very like it was like pictures with the text over the top, and it was very set and how it went across. But now, as it slowly sort of progressed, there's now really have like a montage of clips all pushed together, and with video and audio synchronization, where it's all pushed together. So like drum beats on the sound of edits.
Yeah. So, what are we looking to do next week?
I'm hoping to finish question 6. Hopefully work on some of the other tasks. I will look into that.
I'm going to make sure I'm going to finish question 12 and I want to start question 5 for next week.
That's the one I was going to work on.
Target for next week is to have just to finish to polish up any other bits of work, and then start my question 7, which is analysing a film trailer, and maybe go on to task 7, where I start to describe more and analyse. And then lastly, I was for my last target, I would also start task 12 with my.
Okay, so this is our weekly reflections, week 4. So this week, it's been quite a short week, but what we have done is I have, for myself, made progress in task 12. I finished that. I also looked at task 5. What other tasks have you two done?
I've mainly just focused on getting task 5 done.
Well, I have been doing task 12. I have been finishing any other bits of tasks that maybe have been standing out to me, and I've just been looking through film trailers and picking out which ones I can choose to analyse and look at and pick apart and whatnot.
Yeah. Well,
gathering ideas, really.
Yeah, so for I'd say for task 12, what I did was, obviously I've looked through all the features, so I've explained how they're done, but what was significant about this task was that I had to explain why the design, why it was specific, what inspiration I will take from my own film opening, or what inspiration I'll take from that film opening trailer in particular to put into my film trailer or our film trailer. I also looked at the colours, why it's significant, so that comes under the design. The language, how it's used, so how it's persuasive, and I think in our one we should make sure we use quite a lot of persuasive language, and maybe incorporate colours to maybe foreshadow something, give connotations, because obviously, as we know,
it's a psychological thriller, isn't it?
Yeah, so
anything in the background, I feel.
Because we need to be quite. I think we need to be quite intelligent in how we do it. Because if our audience is going to be quite intelligent, then they're not going to want something that.
It needs to figure out.
It needs to sort of complement. I'd say.
Almost like tricks of the mind as well.
Yeah. So it needs to. So obviously, if we have like a connotation, for example, with red, we need to maybe include that. So maybe it will foreshadow what is going to come, and it will help also in the narrative of this.
Yeah, so overall we just need to figure out how well we can pull it off.
Yeah.
It's just the little things that we need to putting into the background as well. So like if we had, for example, I know something in the background that linked with his childhood.
Yeah.
You could say that in that way you can show that he's scarred him from his childhood.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And how did you two get on with Task 5? Did you get any inspiration?
Well, from my Task 5, as I mentioned for last week, I looked at World War Z.
Yeah.
And that one, it's very action based.
Yes.
So, from when our trailer starts to pick up and it reaches the climax, I got ideas for it. It was very it was jumpy, because it's World War Z. It's like zombies as well, so it's kind of like a thriller.
Yeah.
Like how it's laid out. So with ours, it's kind of, I reckon we could put in to explain what I mean, but it's like as it sort of picks up, it adds more and more plot points, but like subtly.
Yeah.
Like even if it's like little tiny bits of dialogue, like one-liners. Like for example, she says that he was well suited for the job, and that puts his family in danger because he has to go away to do his job.
Yeah.
So that sounds like quite clever.
Yeah, from that one little bit of line, you pick that up, and I reckon we'll be able to use things like that.
So for I also on this specific magazine cover that I looked at, do you think we should do you think we should advertise maybe an interview with a celebrity maybe?
Possibly.
Or what do you think should be the base of our front cover?
Well, looking through them, you'll find that there's the he always has the main article, obviously. But he always has the little ones, and really we can just choose any other. Like if we wanted, we could choose the other group's film, and say, oh look, there's a little snippet there.
Yeah, exactly. And like in all the other little bits that we have to do, some little supplements like the top of our
exclusive.
Make sure we include buzzwords. Also, taglines and crosswords. No, not crosswords. Crossheads.
Yes.
As well. So yeah.
What have you been looking at this week, Paul?
I've been mainly looking at Task 5, to which I've been looking at an upcoming film, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And with regards to what we could have in our trailer, one of the bits shown in the trailer for Fantastic Beasts is the main character. There's a lot of mystery about him to begin with, and I feel that what with our character in our film having a lot of mystery about him, so like why is he like this, I feel that we could end up having a layer of that with it.
Yeah.
During my Task 12, I decided to look at Total Film magazine, as one of their articles, or one of their main issues, was about Shutter Island, which is a psychological thriller. So I thought if I looked at this film sort of magazine, I'll be able to find, like, because it's obviously a thriller and it's psychological, which is linking to what ours is.
Exactly.
I thought if I looked at this one, I'd be able to get more ideas off of it. And a couple of things that I picked up was there was a big, bold red text that almost looked like a danger sign had been worn off.
Yeah.
And it's connoting danger, and it's signifying that there's going to be obviously hurt and danger in front of them.
Yeah.
Also, the text is big, bold, and red. Obviously, once again, red being danger and death, and
gore and blood as well.
It's just
and the devil. It could have like religious connotations.
There was lots of low-key lighting in the background of the image, and it's once again dark and evil. And there's just so much from it that I've been able to pick up, which we can easily put into ours. Even if it's like slightly, we can like incorporate loads from it.
Next week, what are we planning on doing?
I'm hoping to get onto the second trailer to look at for Task 5, which is researching the trailers.
I'm going to try and finish Task 5, get all of that done. I also, don't forget, we've got to do
pre-production.
Pre-production next week.
So next week, that's all we've got to do. So our main focus next week is going to be pre-production.
We're going to have to look at storyboards.
Costumes.
Costumes,
props,
lighting,
storyboard as to how the trailer will play out.
All main mise-en-scène needs to be sorted out.
So hopefully what we've spoken about just then, we'll be able to take inspiration from what we've done so far and put it into our...
Well, with our main idea of everything, I reckon we'll be able to do the storyboards quite easily.
Yeah.
Because we already have a rough idea
Yeah,
of
we
how
have
it's going to play
we've
out.
got quite a detailed idea, haven't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the next week, I reckon I'm going to start analysing my trailers and actually pick them out and dissect them.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
we
going
need
to
to
do.
dissect them because I think we're quite experts on all these not
Yeah.
language film features now, aren't
Yeah,
we?
we've been doing it for quite a long time, so we've been able to get our head around it all.
Yeah. Okay, so this is our week 5 weekly reflection. This week we have started our pre-production.
Well, first of all, we started sort of coming together, sort of trying to decide what ones we should do first,
Yeah.
which ones we thought would be easier.
Yeah.
So we thought that we should focus on the story-based ones first. So
Mhm.
the synopsis, which is what I started doing,
Mm-hmm.
and altogether really we did the
Yes.
We've
storyboard.
we've done
Working.
some of the storyboard and some
Yeah.
of the shot lists as well because
Yes.
we thought
All
what our
together.
aim was. Yeah, we stepped out each part of our narrative.
Mm.
And we, along with writing it in the synopsis, we wrote our shot list along with that,
Yep.
and also we did our storyboard to run alongside that. So we decided on the dialogue, the voiceover, what we were going to be doing for the props, the locations of where
Yes.
all our sort of parts of our film were going to be filmed.
Mhm.
And we also decided on adding some more characters, I think.
Mhm.
That was one of our
Yes.
Jack, do you want to tell us
I was going
a
to-
brief overview of my narrative?
Well, our narrative, it starts out just a normal, plain, simple boy, played by me. And what's going to happen is that he's just going to be a normal teenage boy, goes to school, plays games with his friends, and just overall spends time with his best friend, which we named Oliver.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but as his sort of life goes on, he becomes sort of just affected by just the conditions around him, his mother passing away, having to deal with issues he had at home with his disabled father, and just having trouble throughout life in general.
Yeah, and we
And then-
wanted to keep our just to interrupt. I just was going to say that we wanted to keep the whole theme of mental illness a prevalent thing
Mm.
in our opening because as we see quite a lot on the news and stuff, it's quite a big issue today, and we wanted to sort of keep it relevant to our sort of audience
Yeah.
because a lot of young people
To try and-
have the issues like that, like what we were talking about, like the mental illness and stuff.
Right, so yeah, anyways, he sort of goes through his life, he starts hearing little things he can't explain, he starts seeing little things which sort of out the corner of your eye that you don't
Mm.
sort of notice, but you kind of like, what's that?
Mm.
Is that there? And it's progressively gets worse until the point where he actually sees something in front of him that he knows isn't real.
Mm.
And this confuses him, so he ends up going and talking to his friend, Oliver, again, who then sort of advises him along and tries to help him. And then in the end he ends up going to see a doctor therapist,
Mhm.
who then suggests giving him over a diary in which he can write down what he feels, what he sees, what he hears.
Yes.
Yeah, and we can say the diary is like a key prop, and it could be a signifier, and it could have quite a few connotations.
Mm.
So maybe we might think about giving the diary maybe a specific colour, such as red, to maybe connote certain things.
Yeah.
And then as his visions, sort of, they get worse and worse as they keep going, and he sort of puts together, these are his feelings, like they're his visions of his feelings, like almost metaphors.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I thought that would be a good idea to show, obviously, the mental side.
Yes.
And obviously having seen that, just imagine seeing something there, like your fear just sort of crawling across the table, but you know it's
Yeah.
not there.
Yeah.
Or like seeing your conscience, which I thought was a big part for me.
Mm.
So it's having like your conscience just sort of standing there talking to you, tormenting you.
Yeah.
So you're going, looking over, so going, oh, you know that's not right.
Yeah.
Sort of like almost second guessing him
Mm.
for him. And it's like the effect that would have on someone. And as this gets worse and worse, once again he sees more visions,
Mhm.
which to the point where he starts getting aggressive,
Yeah.
and it starts actually affecting him with his social life. So attacking Oliver, sort of lashing out at him, and how that was going to affect Oliver and his friendship.
Yeah.
It gets to the point where Oliver then starts to try and help him, but then Jack attacks him. Oliver starts to give up
Mm-hmm.
and ends up abandoning him. Then Jack ends up finding a way that he can actually stop these visions by sort of conquering his fears, for example. That ends up stopping that specific fear from showing up. And he ends up fighting his way through his demons, and then till the point where there isn't any left, or so it seems.
Right, so next week, what are we all hoping to do with our research plan? What have we done this week? What are we going to do next week?
I've been mainly working on tasks 5 and 6, and I'm hoping to do some more of that over the weekend.
Yeah, I've done tasks 5 and 6 as well. I had to recognise the difference between the question 5 and 6, because one of them was about the conventions of a trailer, and one of them was a convention about a chosen opening of our choice. It didn't necessarily have to be the genre that we chose, which was psychological thriller. So I've done a crime mystery drama sort of thing. It's a thriller, which is obviously part of sort of like the psychological part of that. So yeah, next week, hoping that we finish most of our research and planning, as in our pre-production, and I'm hoping that I could probably get between question 7 and question 8, because we need to start wrapping it up sort of now.
And how's things with you, Jack?
Well, I just need to keep working on everything we've done. Going to do a bit more pre-production, working on improving the synopsis if there's anything more that I can add, if I can find anything.
Yep.
And I was going to start working whatever needs to be done, the pre-production what we have left.
Research.
And then the research and planning, just once again finishing off bits, making sure everything's well rounded.
Yep.
And just most of my most of my planning is done. It's just once again like filling in the little bits.
Yeah.
So during your research and your planning, you know what we had with, you said it was task 5 and 6 you looked at? What trailers is it you looked at?
Well, for my psychological thriller trailer, I specifically looked at the trailer Black Swan. Used plenty of different features of a psychological thriller, and also features of a trailer. So the typical features of the trailer, which we are hoping to put into our actual trailer, because the features, the convention of a trailer are the same for everyone. So examples I can think of: stars, celebrities, the main character, or the protagonist, as it's also known. The protagonist also will be prevalent in the film like the trailer, and then if the audience is captured by the protagonist, how they're acting, then they're going to go and want to go and watch the actual movie. Other conventions, what can you think of?
Just from a normal film trailer, you have the establishing shot.
The equilibrium.
At the beginning, there was the quiet bit, which is the equilibrium. You have in the middle, it's a turning point, which is where it starts to become a bit more fast-paced, a bit more actiony, where stuff starts to go wrong. And lastly, it's the climax, also where everything kicks off. And you'd also probably have a shock element, which you're going to want to shock the reader. That's probably another feature for psychological thriller as well. And then for, obviously with our shock element, because it's a horror, that's what we want to try and push through, and that's going to have to be a big part of our trailer. There's the one-liners, which I don't think we're going to have much of. We want to show that it's serious. And one-liners are typically used for the comedy element. Location is also quite a big thing for a psychological thriller, but also for our trailer, because our location we decided was going to be quite normal places. We wanted to keep it for us, because it's
and then
schools.
What were the examples of our locations, Paul?
Mainly, as it's going to be based around a typical school life, we are going to involve school buildings, classrooms, possibly a park. Also, we're going to include doctor's surgery as well, because obviously, if he's got mental illness, the doctor's going to give him the diary.
And I think another one was going to be a bedroom, because obviously, it's somewhere to live.
And what films did you two look at?
With regards to psychological thrillers, I looked at 7, and one of the key conventions I noticed in that trailer was a very much use of fast-paced editing. Building suspense as to how the film would play out, which I feel could work out very much. And the use of fast-paced editing is going to leave the reader asking questions throughout the trailer, and hopefully at the end there will sort of be like a resolution. The trailers I looked at were for Shutter Island and for Inception, which both are psychological thrillers. And the main part about Inception is that they don't know what's real or not. And I was hoping, because our character,
he's not going to know his visions are actually real, or
Yeah,
actually his
might
friends.
play games with them, yeah.
And I thought that we'd be able to sort of develop that through ours, to have it as
Yeah.
something maybe so it's different. Where Inception, they don't know, like, because they go into other people's dreams, they don't know they're
Yeah.
still in the dream or
Yeah.
not. Where our character had it where he doesn't know the person's real.
Yeah.
or not. And once again, in Shutter Island, he's a detective who ends up going to a prison to try and solve the mysteries of this island.
Yeah.
But as it turns out, he's actually an inmate.
Yeah.
But you don't find that out towards the end.
Oh.
And I thought because it kind of doesn't give you all the information in a
No,
psychological
yeah.
thriller. And I thought once again we could leave bits out. And
Yeah.
So we leave something for them to look forward to. Leave them asking questions, like you said.
Hello and welcome to week 6 of our weekly reflections. So, guys, what have we done this week?
Oh, well, first of all, I'd say we've done our pre-production.
Yeah.
So we've probably
That is
We've got the majority.
yeah, we've
Yes,
got.
we
I
have.
think we've properly stuck. We're probably stuck into it now. So I'd
Yes.
say that first of all, I'd say me and Jack's finished the synopsis now, more or less.
Yes, yes.
All done.
So that was sort of like the building blocks. So that's sort of like
Yeah.
That's all got to start.
yeah, that's sort of like
We couldn't essentially do it without doing the synopsis first, otherwise it wouldn't
yeah.
work at
So
all.
that sort of formed the base
Yeah.
of what we're going to be doing. So then
Mhm.
what we've done is we've built on that. So we've done a storyboard. Me and
Yeah.
Jack worked together on that, really, didn't we? Because
Yeah.
I've
Storyboard.
yeah.
It
So
got
we
started
helped.
and then
Yeah, we
Mhm.
developed our
we went
ideas
through.
from the film synopsis into shots and into the sort of the costumes
Mhm.
and the
What sort of things we wanted to include.
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
like, all the different shots we wanted, because
Mm.
once again, because it's a psychological thriller,
Yeah.
we wanted all
as
the
many
weird little
as many
things.
shots as we can because psychological thriller has lots of very fast-paced editing.
Yes.
So we wanted to
Because
get
bring back, because it's a thriller,
yeah.
it needs to be
Mm.
Mhm.
action-based, fast.
Yeah.
So we thought we
And
would get that done.
Yeah.
and then I took the opportunity of working on the script for the trailer, and so by looking at what Jack had written,
What we've done side
yeah,
by side.
yeah, me and Jack have been working with the story, Jack doing the storyboard and the synopsis, and me with the script. And by looking at the synopsis, I took some ideas from that and wondered what could work with it. And so far, it has been going superbly well, and should be done by next week, hopefully.
Should be done. So
Um,
what
yeah.
we're going to do, we're going to
Yeah.
get the ideas from the finished,
Storyboard.
and then we're going to integrate. We're going to work
Yeah.
that into it,
Mm-hmm.
so we know.
Yeah, and we also did our shot list because the shots are already listed in the storyboard, so we thought, well, get that done as well.
Yes.
So we're nearly finished. We've got a couple more shots to do, and then we've probably got about 50 shots so far. So we've got plenty really. Mid
yes.
shots, long shots, close ups, extreme close up.
So we have a few more little
Yeah,
scenes
2
to go.
shots.
Yes.
Yeah, reverse shot, reverse shot, all sorts.
Mm.
So we also did our costume list, didn't we?
Yes,
Yes.
I have been working on that. It's proving to be a bit of a task at the moment, but hopefully, yes, once the storyboard and the
Yeah.
shot list is done, then we can focus on that, and hopefully we'll all be done.
Yeah, we did our location visits as well.
Mhm.
I did that. We've so far I've done them for the sixth form centre, which is where we're doing one of them, and for Jack's house as well. And we also did a risk assessment because they're quite.
There was my garden.
Yes,
Yeah.
there was.
There was
Uh-huh,
the
yeah.
bedroom.
Yeah, we need to do them. Yeah, but it's sort of like around the same area.
Mhm.
We listed sort of like the risks or the potential filming problems, but also we put them into the risk assessment too,
Yes,
because they
we
sort
did.
of overlapped each other. We also did our research and planning, didn't we?
Yes.
So what have we
More,
done this
we've
week?
done
for
so
that?
more on the research and planning. Once again, just little improvements on the other tasks that we've done.
Yes.
Yeah,
And there was task, I believe it was 14,
yeah,
Yeah.
task 14. Well,
which
for
was
task
which one was that?
14, that was listing the conventions of
Of
the magazine.
the magazine.
Not film posters.
Film posters, that's what
Yeah,
it was.
that
So
was
it
it.
was, we all found a poster, a film poster,
Yeah.
and then what we're going to do, we're going to put onto a thing, what we've all done, is that
Mhm.
we've all going to label it and list out all the conventions on
Yes,
it.
so
Mhm. Yeah.
like mastheads, taglines,
Mhm, yeah.
Actors,
yeah,
Key signifiers.
all,
Yes.
all that's been done. I think we've all done that.
Yeah, we
yeah,
have.
I've been
Yeah.
working on that.
All done.
hmm
And then I've been working on task 8, which is dissecting the trailer,
Yeah,
the film trailer, where you have to screenshot every single shot from the trailer, and then talk about what shots they've used, what transitions.
How did you get the inspiration from question 8 to our own film opening? Film trailer, should I say? Sorry.
Like we've mainly said about the fast-paced editing, there is a lot of in the trailer I've looked at, which is of 7, and I've ended up getting quite a hefty amount of slides full of shots.
Yeah.
All due to fast-paced editing, so I feel that could be a key usage that we could have in our film trailer.
And going from that's what I've tried to integrate into our storyboards, where you will see a lot of quite fast-paced shots through it, and always it's going to be trying to get it very dramatic, because once again, like you said, with Thriller, it's fast-paced.
Yes.
That's what it's meant to do. It's meant to keep you on the edge.
Keeps you interested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the also I think with Thriller, I think maybe you could put little things in the background, which is what once again we try to do. Yeah, because that's what it is in yours, isn't it?
Almost. Yeah.
Right. Next week, what are we doing?
I'm aiming to finish Task 8 and hopefully work on to other tasks such as Task 7 and Task 9.
Yeah. And we're also going to do question 13 as a group as well.
Yes.
Because we'll need to give a list and brainstorm our ideas on what we're going to do for a film poster.
And I reckon in a few days, all planning.
Yeah, all research
be done.
planning pre-production should be done.
All pre-production.
And then hopefully by the end of this entirely, all the research should be completed.
Yeah,
all
by the end of
research.
next week, hopefully.
Hello, this is our weekly reflection for week 7. This is our last reflection.
So what have we done? Well, firstly, I did the shot list. Now, for this shot list, we listed all the shots we want to use in our film trailer. I think we had about 60, 70 in the end. We took inspiration from task 8, or question 8, which is the dissection of a film trailer, and we had to screenshot and put into our research and planning PowerPoint what each of the shots were used. So each individual shot, every single. So we had like 80 shots, I think, in total, something like that. We also managed to do this week. I managed to complete the risk assessment. So we did the risk assessments and location visits for all of our locations, namely our Jack's house, the garden and the inside, the sixth form centre, and the street and pathway, and upstairs in an office. Some of the risks I highlighted were, for example, in Jack's house, possibly tripping down the stairs, or his dog harassing maybe. We also identified that if we're out filming, for example, in a pathway or in a street,
with other people.
There's probably going to be some sort of risk of being attacked, sort of maybe harmed or attacked, or even having our equipment stolen, possibly. Yeah. Other tasks, question 7, which was the analysis of a film trailer of our genre. So we have to use mise en scène. So mise en scène, what did you put in yours? In your question 7?
I talked a lot about the narrative, the costumes. With narrative, I talked about all the character. For task 7, I talked about the film Hannibal. I talked about how the character of Hannibal, played by Anthony Hopkins, linked in with how he played the same role in the past 2 films before it, The Red Dragon and Silence of the Lambs. And the way that he was able to play his character so well, you wouldn't think that he was playing a psychopath. He looked more like a very posh person, well-spoken. You wouldn't think that he was a psychopath.
No.
He is.
With my question 7, I looked at the film trailer Memento, and what I found most intriguing was the fact that there was a lot of different shots and it was very fast paced, which I suppose you expect from a psychological thriller, but it was still quite surprising to see how many shots they've managed to incorporate in quite a short period of time.
And for my task 7, which was the description and analysis, I looked at Inception, which is about going into people's minds and sort of stealing information from their dreams. And this gave me a few ideas for our film opening, our film trailer rather.
Yeah.
And it's because it's all shaped around the mind and stuff.
Yeah.
So I thought, when looking into it, there's always going to be metaphors and there's always little hints that it's a mind and stuff. So I thought with our films we could use those little metaphors, whether that's in the mise en scène, whether that's in characters themselves, which is where I got the idea from having his demons as like the incarnations of his thoughts.
What else have you two done in terms of pre-production this week?
Pre-production, I've completed the script alongside Jack. I've completed the production schedule and have been working on the costume list.
I finished the storyboard at the beginning of the week, and then also I went through the shot lists with you to get all the shots
we did
from
that
the
together
storyboard.
because we thought that we'd take inspiration from not only ourselves and our own ideas, but also
from
our
the storyboard.
and from our dissection as
From
well
how
from Question 8.
we all laid it out.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I thought I'd work it as I made the storyboard. I know how it's going to go down.
Yeah.
And I thought
And
that,
the same with the script.
I thought that,
Went through it.
yeah, with regards to the script and how the trailer would play out, I thought I'd take some inspiration from my task 8 that I did, which I did on 7, and through near the end of the trailer, as well as with Hannibal, even though they have fast-paced editing, the trailer picks up pace quite a lot near the end. So I thought maybe we could have that involved with our film trailer, have more action near the end of it, as well as having more frequent shots.
What would the effect of all these shots be on our audience?
It would probably draw in a lot of attention. So, like, there's a lot of action in it. There is a lot of psychological thriller stuff related with it. So, and as it is related to something that is kind of common nowadays, people would kind of relate to it and think, maybe if we were like that, maybe if that happened with us, what would happen?
Yeah.
So
and
with all of the storyboards and everything, they're all finished.
Yeah.
And with those, I got once again my ideas from like task 8, which was the dissection, different shots we can use.
Yeah.
And through that, I thought maybe looking through all the different shots, I thought if we had lots of close-ups,
Yeah.
I thought maybe we could get really in close to the details.
Mm-hmm.
So then
because
the film I did for task 8 was Shutter Island, which once again is about him being all mentally, and he actually believes he's a detective and he's actually looking into a crime that he actually committed.
Oh.
Which, so I thought, because that's very psychological, and there's always things in the background, there's things that he reads. We had lots of close-ups, you get lots and lots of details of all the little things.
Yeah, and then we can get lots of hints as to how the film will take place.
Yeah, because the main item for our film was going to be the diary. I thought maybe a few close-ups of those.
And as you said in like the script, to have sort of like some drawings of his monsters in it.
And the next few tasks that I looked at was task 14, I think it was, or 14 or 15, and that was the poster analysis. And for that, I chose Inception, the Inception poster, and it's quite simple. It's very simplistic. It's just simple. There's not a lot going on, but in that sense, there is a lot going on. I thought we kept it simple, and that's sort of given me ideas for our one. Maybe if we have a simplistic look.
A simplistic look, but a lot of hints.
With lots of hints like the 4 or 5 main characters are on the front.
Yes.
And in the background, there's just all buildings, and it's just them pretty much.
I thought
we could use that for ours.
I did task 13 as well, which was the magazine task where we had to state what conventions we intend to use in future in our magazine.
And what did you pick for our magazine cover?
Anchorage text, which is quite important. I used a couple of crossheads because you had to give an example of what you intend your magazine to look like. So I did my own magazine, and then what I did was I screenshotted it, moved it over to the PowerPoint, and then analysed each bit of it and said why and how I'm going to use these conventions.
So what ones have you picked out?
I picked out a key signifier in the middle, which is a picture. It's going to be a picture of the main character, who is Jack, and he's going to be looking quite confused. And the underneath bit, the Anchorage text will be saying I can't take this anymore, and it will have the title of the film. So that is sort of what most magazines tend to include.
Yes.
Because we've looked at quite a few.
Did we come up with a title for a magazine in the end?
Yeah, I think we did. We called it Fantastic Films, but obviously we can change that next
Yeah, we can
term.
work on that.
Yeah. Also, I did a barcode, which was obviously on all magazines, and Left Side Third, which is a very important role because as it sits on the shelf, it needs to be that big that can be seen. And I said that I'm going to include all the different parts. I'm going to include different articles and sort of adverts for articles for what's inside.
Because as you'd only typically see the left side, you'd see the articles and you think, oh, that magazine looks interesting, I'll have a look at that.
Yeah.
What film posters did you look at?
I have looked at the poster for... I can't remember what poster I did look at, but in regards to the film magazine cover, I looked at Transformers, and Transformers Age of Extinction. I was able to pick up some conventions from there, so like essentially what Michael had said.
Is there anything you picked up from your one that you think we should use?
I can't remember, to be honest.
Any ideas?
Well, I included in my magazine Task 13, I also managed to include similar examples. So I included our specific examples, screenshots, but then I also included what other magazine covers have done. So for example, I gave the main type, the key signifier, I used the key signifier that's going to be on our magazine and then compared it to the key signifiers that have been used in other magazines to not only look at the differences but also look at the similarities to make sure that they looked correct. I think it has enhanced our film opening and our magazines and our film posters this week. I feel like quite a lot of what we've done has managed to impact on...
Yeah, made a big impact on how our film trade will play out.
There was, during Task 6 I found, there was, which was the conventions of a specific genre to go with our trailers, and for that one I looked at Fight Club, which is once again a thriller with psychological elements. When I'm watching the trailer, I found that as the trailer went on, it got faster and faster towards the end. Like, it starts off pretty slow, and as it goes on, it gets sort of faster, it cuts quicker, it's more fast paced. And that actually reminds me of just a thriller, because that's how it happens. The start of the thriller is always quite slow, but then the tension builds, and then it builds, and then it builds to the point where it gets to the
climactic.
And it gets to the point where the build-up is so intense that you're continuously sitting on the edge of your seat.
Like, what's next?
And that it was reflected perfectly in the trailer. And it's the same as well with the music. Like, it starts quite slow with like the score, and then it builds up.
Yeah, that's another thing we need to make sure we include next term in our trailer is music, because that is quite a key element
key point.
to, and it helps tell a story, and it also helps to foreshadow and tell the reader what genre it is, because if it's got quite spooky and like sort of high pitched music and quite boom 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 music, then it's not going to be sort of like a romantic film or a comedy. It's going to be, you're going to immediately know.
Well, if we use that pretty well, I think it will just be great, because once again it will reflect the film, it will reflect the themes, and that's what we want. It's good to have effect on the audience. Because they'll sit there, they'll watch it, they'll be like, oh, as it picks up, and they'll sit there, they'll be on the edge just through the trailer itself, hopefully. And as obviously we can help the music as we get through it, and the script, that will get faster and faster to the point where the trailer ends. And then with the little bit on the end, which is what always is, and it's just sort of, it brings it back down slow again, sort of makes you look, and you think of wonder, what's going to happen.
And then with regards to music, through looking at Hannibal trailer, there were a few bits where it was boom, one shot, boom, another. So if you were to have the bang on each shot, then that would make the trailer stand out a lot as well.
Synchronised, and it's the asynchronous sounds and the diegetics and the non-diegetic sound as it goes along with the shots.
A final question I want to ask is, how do we think we've planned this term out in terms of all of our tasks we've had to do? Do you think we have planned it in an organised way, or do you think we've sort of it's been unorganised?
I think it's been organised.
Yeah.
I
But then
think.
when the pressure gets to us, I think we did fuddle around quite a bit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I think me specifically, I don't deal well under stress. And
No,
when it's
yeah,
happened,
I don't
it's-
deal with stress a bit either,
But when it's gone to the point where I think, I don't know if you would agree, it's kind of calmed down a bit. We're getting ourselves organised again.
I remember over last weekend where I was getting quite worried about the tasks. Then as soon as I got task 8 out of the way, I only realised I only had a few tasks left over.
Yeah.
I thought,
Yeah.
there wasn't much
Yeah.
to worry about
Yeah.
anyway.
I was exactly the same. I've still got quite a bit to do.
Yeah.
But
I feel like we're going to have it done on Monday. I think we will fit
It'll
our
be done.
deadline perfectly. And I feel like what we've done is we've managed to organise it over a certain amount of weeks what tasks we're going to do.
I think that
And I feel like, yeah,
maximised
that's-
our time.
Yeah.
Final question. What do you think we could do better next time? I
Bit
feel
more
like
organised.
Be more organised.
I feel like we could have probably done maybe a rota or something,
Yeah,
or maybe have done the editing for our
Yeah.
weekly reflections maybe a bit earlier.
Hmm.
And I feel like maybe we could have spent more time on each of the tasks, properly looking through
Yes.
them in more detail.
So like then maybe we could have thought about staying behind after school and
Yeah.
doing more in our free periods a lot more before, so then that we
Mhm.
wouldn't have as much stress
Yeah,
as we have
I
had.
think with me it's maybe just I've always been working on the research and planning,
Mm.
but I've always found myself quite slow, and I'm going to try and train myself to be a bit quicker.
Yeah.
Not just with me, but with all of my other subjects as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's always bringing me down. It's like, it's not that I'm not doing it, it's just I'm a bit slow, and I always struggle
And
with
like,
English based.
I do feel like in future that it's given me the skills to manage my time around a schedule and a deadline, and I feel like in the future I'll be able to handle the workload more and better along with all my other subjects.
So then when we come back after our term off,
Yeah.
we're going to have the
Film-
pre-production is done, the
Research and planning, we're gonna have corrections for that
Yeah.
and the pre-production to
Soon.
get that done.
we'll
Mhm.
start filming.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
and
will
that's-
start filming for the trailer.
And what that is, that's going to work out as we're going to film a bit, and then we're going to
Yeah.
come back, we're going to edit some of it.
Yeah.
And that spends 2-3 days, I think,
Yeah.
just flat out filming.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then maybe if there are any extra shots that we come up with after, we'll go out and we'll
Yes.
film those
Yeah.
again. And because we're filming in the local area,
Yeah.
so it'll be
Yeah.
quite easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, very easy to get all the shots within the time that we have.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah.
So
That's what we'll be doing next.
Mhm.
thank you for watching.